Hi, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice, and today I'm taking a look at really a group of products from a company called Loke Battle Mats. They create basically maps to use with your tabletop RPGs for your combat encounters. They're maps with a 1-inch grid, so you can do your tactical movement in games like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, etc. They've done these products, a series of products called the Wilderness, and you have, first of all, the Wilderness Books of Battle Mats. It's a set of two books with spiral binding, and each page is basically part of a map that you can use for, your combat encounters. So they have these two books, this set of two books. They also have the Little Book of Battle Mats with the Wilderness Edition. All right, that's a kind of a companion piece to those. And then finally, they have this add-on scenery for RPG Battle Mats Wilderness Edition, right? So it's all part of the same kind of product line. Now, I'll point out that these are part of a larger product line. They've done these three same products, a little book, a set of two bigger books, and these add-on scenery, and they've done it with a dungeon theme, all right, for your dungeon encounters, and they've done it with towns and taverns as a theme for your, urban fantasy encounters. I've already done expansions for those two sets of products. I'll put links in the description to this video if you want to go see more about those. But my hope really was that with all three of these sets of products now, you'd have all the maps that you need for any kind of general encounter in a fantasy RPG. So we're going to take a look at these books. We're going to see if they fulfill that hope, and just kind of how they work as products in general to see if they might be something that's right for you and your tabletop RPGs. So we'll go down to the table, we'll take a look at the products, and then we'll come back up here, and I'll give you a few closing thoughts. All right, so we'll start with the Books of Battle Mats. This is kind of the centerpiece of these products. You'll see that you have a nice sleeve here, and on the back you have kind of these thumbnail images of all the different maps in the two books. You can see these are the one book and the second book. And they actually can help you, pinpoint exactly where in the books the map you need is, if you'd like. Actually, even more helpful for that is you can see on the back of these maps, on the back of these books, you have the maps with page numbers, so you can pinpoint exactly where the map you want is and go right to it. We'll go ahead and take a look at these, and I'm just going to kind of flip through them so you can see what is entailed here, what kind of maps you have, starting with some nice jungle mats. And I'll go ahead and point out as we're going through here, these are some nice sturdy pages. All right, they're laminated, so you can use dry erase, wet erase markers on them if you want to add notes or details, maybe about elevation, etc. You can see, I'll point out too, you can use them just like this for a relatively small encounter. You can open them up all the way for a larger encounter. And if you want a really big encounter, there's always a map in the other book that kind of lines up with the map in the one book. So you can make an even much larger encounter if you want. Now, one of the things I like about this product is I like having these maps in this spiral bound book, because when it comes to maps like this for, tabletop RPGs, for the tactical combat encounters, you kind of have two different products generally. You have like large poster maps that you can fold out and use, and those are pretty cool, but they do take up a lot of space on the table, and sometimes they're very specific in what they are portraying. So with this, you have some modularity. You can go with, like I said, just one page or 2 pages or 4 pages, depending on how much space you think you're going to need for the encounter. And like, for example, you can see here, we've got 2 pages of like this forest environment, 2 pages of this forest environment. But when you flip the pages, we've got more forest environment. So that means you have some modularity. You could go with like these 2 with those 2, or you could go back and do these 2 with those 2, etc. Right? So you have some modularity there. So that's cool. That makes them a little more flexible than the poster maps. The other type of product you often have is what they call maybe dungeon tiles. There might be other names for them, but I see dungeon tiles used a lot. And those are like smaller, tiles, maybe about that big. And you can line them up how you want to create the environment you want. And those are cool. They're very modular, which allows you to create some interesting things, but they take a while to set up because you got to bring out the tiles and set them up how you want them. This, by the way, is like a snowscape. It shows up very bright. It's the combination of the white snow and the lamination and my lamps. So I apologize that you can't get a better view of that, but that's what's going on here. So yeah, you generally have those two kind of extremes. You've got the poster maps, or you've got the dungeon tiles. And I like how this is kind of a nice in-between. And this, again, very washed out because of the lighting in combination with the lamination. But these are basically like some desert maps, all right? But here you have some modularity, not as much as the dungeon tiles, but there's some modularity. And yeah, so it's just like a nice in-between. Some modularity, but also much easier to set up than the dungeon tiles. So that's what you got here. I like that about this product in general. We've got the little Booklet Battle Mats. So they can stand alone as just for like tiny little encounters, or you can use them to kind of add on to the larger books, to add maybe a little detail to one of those maps, or just to extend one of those maps a little bit. You could even use this to maybe bridge the map on one book with the map on the other book, right? So there's a few different ways you could use them. And they're pretty neat little maps as it is. One of the things I like to do with these books, and one of the reasons why I like these books, again, as a product, is you have a lot of different maps all together. And because it's a book, you can bookmark the map that you're going to need, right? So use a Post-it note or something to bookmark the map that you need. It'll make it really easy to get right to that map, when you need it in the game. We have the add-on scenery. So these are basically a few pages of these different add-on scenery that you can add to the maps. These will really work on any laminated map. But basically you have, a variety of different elements here. They're all this plastic that sticks. They kind of stick to these pages, but you can see they peel away. And once they peel away, you can stick them to the laminated pages in the book. And you can stick them right back on if you want. I like to keep these in like page protectors in a binder, so it's really easy to flip through them and find what you need. So basically what we have here, we'll go back up top and I'll just give you some closing thoughts. All right, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of what's involved in this product line. Again, that's the Wilderness. You have the book of 2 battle mats, or the 2 books of battle mats. So you have the little book, and then you have the add-on scenery. Now, I will say, this definitely fulfills my hope that I had, that between the Wilderness here, between the Dungeon and the Towns and Tavern version of these products, you really will have all the maps you need to do any kind of standard sort of encounter in your typical fantasy RPG. I like that. With those relatively small set of products, you cover a lot of ground, and I think that's pretty cool. I like how once you put these, in their sleeve, you can slide them on the shelf. They take up just about as much room as, typical RPG books, so they fit on your shelf nice. You can store, so they're easy to store, easy to pull out and use. I like how you have, the thumbnail images on the back of the book. So that makes it easy if you have to do an encounter on the fly. You can quickly look through here and see what's a good map to use, turn right there to that page, and you're ready to go. So if you've got to do something quick on the fly, easy to use in that way. And if you want to set up an encounter ahead of time when you're planning your session, again, it's easy to look through the various maps, see what will work well for your encounter. You can bookmark that page so you can go to it quickly. You can set it up in advance with that add-on scenery, notes about elevation, whatever else you want to put on there. And you can have it all set up ahead of time. You can just close up the book and take it with you. And it's super easy. When you open it up, it'll be ready to go. So I like all of that about this product. Overall, I think it's a really fantastic product line. I like the first 2, the Dungeon, Towns and Taverns. Wilderness just rounds it out very nicely. So this is definitely a recommendation from me. I think, again, it's pretty affordable. And with just those 3 products, you've got almost all your needs covered. If you're going to do something more outlandish, like a planar adventure or, you know, a sky castle or something, maybe then you'll have to look for an additional map. But just for any standard type of encounter, you've got it covered right here. So again, that is the Wilderness Books of Battle Mats, the Little Book of Battle Mats Wilderness Edition, and the add-on scenery for Battle Maps Wilderness Edition, all from Loke Battle Mats. Again, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice. Thank you so much for watching, and you enjoy the rest of your day.